Actually really excited for them because it might just be the camera I have been searching for a really long time. I had a bit of an interesting week last week. I got invited to London to visit the House of Photography to have a meeting about something. I didn't know what it was. I didn't even know if it was a product, if I'm honest with you. And I thought it was going to be an interesting little journey and I could go round and maybe do some street photography afterwards. Now, I turn up and a wise person came to me, which is like, we're going to have a talk. We're going to have a talk about some new products that we're going to be releasing. Anyway, let's get into it. And I'm really excited to show you the new Fujifilm X-M5. And this is, of course, the sequel to the X-M1. Yeah. It does have an APS-C sensor on it that is 26 megapixels. When it comes to actually buying this, you have a few options. You can either buy it body only for $799 or with a lens. It's got a very nice and small form factor with that 15 to 45 millimeter on it. And your first kind of like thought there is, does that 26 megapixel really hold up and can it get some incredible shots? It can. I mean, the Fuji lenses are pretty much sharp across the board, and that's where really the quality comes from. However, the 26 megapixel sensor has actually a beautiful rollout pretty much on the colours, as well as everything else in between. Again, this is really helped by those film simulations. The thing that I would say about the 1545 is that it's not a perfect lens, and it doesn't necessarily need to be. It's a kit lens, so it's to get you started, and this is what this camera is all about. It's an entry level into Fujifilm cameras. Usually when it comes to kit lenses, I hate them. I think they're stupid, but with this one, I would actually get this camera with this kit lens, and that's hard for me to say, usually. The main reason for that being it's really nice to use in vlog situations, but it's also got a nice wide and a decent tight for you to really be able to enjoy locations and, you know, for being able to tell stories and going about. This camera can do that really quite well. You've got your film dial here, which was last seen on the XT50, which allows you to switch between all the different film simulations that you have on the camera. There's no new simulations here, but it's nice to have them. It's what I think kind of attracts me about this camera as well, is the fact that I can just literally get photos done and out there. Now, I have edited the majority of these photos because I just kind of like to have it a little bit more tweaking. And the other thing I would say here is, because I can't edit the RAWs right now, I can't wait to edit the RAWs when I have the ability to. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about the video side of it here as well. Having these film simulations in the camera for just good general images allows me to really cut down on the workflow or something for a more personal project, rather than something like this where I need to make sure the quality is perfect through and through. They've added a mode here called Vlog, which is designed purely for that vlogging kind of purpose, which allows you to control the mics a little bit easier, but also some of the other settings via a touchscreen menu on the camera. Very similar to what you'd expect out of the ZV-E10, and, you know, in that retrospect, it's really quite cool. This is what the audio sounds like just in normal vlogging mode. We've got image stabilization put on there as well, which isn't actually inbuilt in image stabilization, it's electronic stabilization. You can access the stabilization in the lenses to get that little bit extra, and from what I'm seeing here, it looks relatively smooth, and this is even on the kit lens. The X-M5 does actually have some really interesting tech here. It uses 3 mics to do something very similar to the ZV-E10, where you can actually choose to be it stereo, backwards and forwards at the same time, or backwards and forwards individually. It's quite powerful for what you can really do with it. Wait. Have I got through this far in this first look and not talked about the size or weight of the actual camera? It is 355 grams, but I want you to just have a little extra kind of like imagination here. This camera feels light, yes, but it also feels weighty and sturdy with that weight, even really being pocketable, and that's why, and one of the reasons, I really quite like it. This is of course a vlogging camera, so you're not going to be surprised that you've actually got yourself a rotatable screen there. When it comes to this kind of form factor and rotatable screens, what you end up having issue with is places to plug things in correctly. And that's where we come to the side here. Here you've got your ports, including a USB-C, a micro HDMI, and a jack cable for audio, for headphones, not audio. And then your jack cable, I think, is one of the most interesting places I've seen in cameras as of late. And that is, of course, right here, which basically goes right where you would actually put a jack in anyway. So I think it's quite a smart move there from Fujifilm. Why this camera is actually considered a 5 series camera is because of that processor. And with that processor, you get a lot of really powerful features from some of the most up-to-date cameras in a really nice and small, compact, lightweight form factor. And the things to note here when it comes to what it actually has from the other 5 series cameras is, of course, you've got the autofocus as well as some of the video capabilities there. And when we're talking about video capabilities, this camera does not hold back. You've pretty much got everything from the top tier cameras. You've got 6.2K internal using a UHS 1 card, 10-bit 422. That's incredible. Then you've also got the ability to use Blackmagic RAW external with this camera. Again, that is absolutely incredible. Oh, did I also mention this uses OpenGate as well? So for people that are looking to use it as an influencer or somebody that's looking to do a lot of social media posts, you've got OpenGate on here as well. And then inside of that touchscreen menu, you've got the ability to choose between a certain amount of recording time, so you got 15, 30, 60 seconds of it just being off, and that's holding it like you would a normal camera there, rather than holding it like this, which for some people might be useful, but it's that OpenGate I feel like is actually going to be super powerful. You've also got the ability to use F-Log there as well, which basically means you've got really good color depth to all of your images just in your hand. It's powerful. It's a really great little camera, and this isn't a review. To review it, I feel like I'd want it to have it for longer because it's something that I'd actually want to get. In terms of this video, this is a first look. This is us talking about what we love about the camera and what we could see being useful going forward. My time spent in London was short, and time spent in Bristol was short, and I spent a lot of time in Cardiff with this, taking some photos as well. But what I would say is that if I was looking to make a story out of day-to-day events, if I was to hang out with family, go out with friends, take photos of just the streets and going out into the mountains, this would be the camera I think I'd choose, if I'm honest. My time spent with it has been amazing, and it's going to be for a lot of people, right? It's an entry-level Fujifilm camera with fantastic specs, don't get me wrong. So you're going to be expecting a lot of people who are looking to get into Fuji taking it. And then I think you've also got the ability to really corner in a lot of people that are doing vlogging and looking to create a story out of their day-to-day experiences. And in that retrospect, this has you covered pretty much across the board. Of course, you got the photo capabilities of this camera. Well, 26 megapixels isn't fantastic, but for a camera that you're going to be spending £799 on, are you really expecting it to be super high megapixel anyway? Because that comes with a bunch of trade-offs in and of itself, especially when it comes to low light situations. This is the camera I have been waiting for, and I've considered pretty much everything at this point. I really want a small compact camera that I'm going to be using in pretty much a day-to-day basis. And the other thing is, I really want a great excuse to get myself a Fuji camera, because I do actually really quite like them, and the GFX is probably just a little bit out of my current expenses. I wish I had it a little bit longer. I think it's going to be a camera that I might ultimately get myself, and it's something that I would recommend to yourself. If you are somebody that likes the X106 because of those film simulation modes, this pretty much has you covered. If you like to do street photography and you want to be a little bit more stealthy with it, I feel like this is a lot more stealthy than actually having an X100, and a little bit more versatile because you've got the ability to change out your lenses. The ideal setup for this camera would of course be a 27mm f2.8, because you have not only a great low light lens, but it's going to be nice and small and very easy just to put into your jacket pocket and, you know, keep things stealthy. I think the ideal lenses for this would be the small lenses, and the 50 and 45 perform pretty well. It's a kit lens that I didn't necessarily think I was going to like, but I actually really did. The optical stabilization built into it worked perfectly for doing vlogs. It was wide enough to really get everything I really needed out of it, and you know, you got that 6.2K, so you've got a lot of leeway as to what you can really do. A day-to-day travel lens experience, and you know, you got all of the filmic kind of like style with it. This camera is high up my list of what I would get for myself. Please like, follow, subscribe if you want to see more. Those are my initial impressions of the X-M5. If you've got any questions about it, just make sure you ask down below. Of course, we'll have a link to the pre-orders in the description. If you want to pre-order it, then yeah, that's up to you. It's a great camera. I think I'm probably going to pre-order it, to be honest. Yeah. Any questions? You know, how's your day? All of that? Happy to answer. What do I think of, you know, cameras in general? Love them. They're fantastic. Can't wait to do more with them. Yeah. Cool. Let's do.